Geez. Okay. Very real. Oh, what happened? Same thing happened on the other computer today. I typed in Mike's name and his name showed up on one of the kids' thing.
Oh.
Okay. Please wait. No,
Can I put the, is this the camera that looks at me?
yes, it will be. Let me go ahead and do that. We can set it. Oh, there I am. Review, and I'm going to let him in.
Sure. It looks scary, don't I? No, not too bad.
Oh, sorry, that's me.
Tom, I get to see Tom.
There's Tom's here.
All right. I just keep wishing I could change my name, but
You're Jane, right?
I'm Julie.
Holy,
There's Jane.
I thought I saw Jane.
Yeah. Oh, Jane, there you go.
Cool.
All right.
So,
So far, yes.
well, Jane's here and another person.
I do have to say, it's amazing what you don't see when you're not looking carefully. You know, like I'm just learning so much about tall trees as I'm exploring that. It's like, how did I not see these things before?
Yeah.
You know, I'm just
Yeah.
observe so differently.
Yeah. Is that everybody hearing that?
No, I'm trying to. Yeah, it's happening.
Oh no.
It quit.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, we're waiting for Jane. And another person. Should I take off my mask?
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna eat lunch.
Okay, I'll be fine.
I'll be over here.
All right.
Yeah, you have.
So I could go down like that. Oh, see, it's still doing that. All right, well, we're working on the audio here. We'll give it a minute. Ooh, yeah.
Yes, I think we got it now.
You got it? Okay. Well, I should sit down so you can see me. Is that better? There. That's better. You can see the top of my. Okay, good. Yeah, thank you, Tom. So, welcome to the Art Center. We're so glad you're here with us today on this beautiful day. It turned into a lovely day after all that rain. So we're here with our free Zoom class today, and Tom Pace is here in the studio with me, and oh great. So we'll get started. Today we're talking about fall flowers. So we'll be working on a few different flowers, and I'll take you through step by step. You can certainly do it however you want to. It's up to you, but I think you'll have fun today. I'm seeing Patty Lund. Hi, Patty. This is like that romper room thing. Hi. And Julie.
Yes.
Julie, good. And Michelle. Hi, Michelle. And well, there's Tom, and there's Jennifer. Hi, Jennifer. And there's one that says owner's iPhone. I'm not seeing you, but welcome. And Jane, I think, will be joining us eventually. Okay, so we have lots of classes here at the Art Center. We've been doing these free Zoom classes since March, actually, which has been wonderful. And it reaches a lot of people. And we have a student, actually, in one of the watercolor classes that lives in West Virginia. So it's really awesome that she is able to join us. So there's all kinds of things going on here, and we're happy that you're with us today. So I'm gonna put this camera down so that you can see me, and I will take you step by step through the materials and through a process that I'm gonna do. It's just meant to be lots of fun and relaxing. So thank you guys for being here. All righty. Is that good?
Mm-hmm. And we'll get you up here full view. How's that?
Good. Perfect. It smells like an orange.
I just peeled one.
Can I plug you to get me some water?
You
Kind of
sure
forgot
can.
about that. Okay, so I want to show you some of the ideas that I have. First, though, I'm going to take these away and show you my materials. I have Arches watercolor paper to work on today. Let's see if I can get that. There, that's better. There. And I have this art set that is a very nice art set that has the paints in it. And you can purchase these from the Art Center. And I believe a brush is included as well as some paper. So that's there. I'm going to be using my Princeton number 10 brush. This is a round brush. It's a good watercolor brush. I think we got this at Michael's, just saying. But it's a good quality Princeton. And then I also have a number 6 Princeton. So today I'm using round brushes. Sometimes I use flats, but today I'm just going to stick with the round brushes. And then I have some water, and I have some tissues, and I should be good to go. All right, so I don't know why that's, maybe it's the way the camera is, Tom. Like if I have this way, can I make it so it's straight? Oh, there, that's better, thank you. Okay, so that's kind of materials. I often use a pencil, just a number 2 pencil, and this is my kneaded eraser and a little HB pencil. So those are the materials that I use. And then the paints that I have are in my tray, which I like to keep them here, and they can always be reactivated by just taking some water. And let's say I want to get this one moving around. Just add some water to it.
Amanda's joining.
Okay, hello Amanda. Okay, so this will reactivate these colors, which I can keep, and then I'm pretty good about trying to keep this clean in here. But I ended up putting some Hooker's green there, just so I'm not going to get rid of it. But anyway, I like having a spot to mix because we'll be mixing some colors today. So, all right. Now, I'm going to show you a few things. I thought this was really pretty. And it's a, I'm going to take this off because it's hard to talk with it.
Oh, that's what I was trying to tell
Oh,
you.
okay. So this is a little poem or a saying, and it says, "Autumn is the second spring where every leaf is a flower." And you know, the colors this weekend were just absolutely stunning. You know, we've had such beautiful weather, and it was just a masterpiece everywhere I turned when I was driving around. So I thought that was a really nice way to describe what's going on right now with our colors. You know, and we have these beautiful fall colors, and I'm just going to put a few of these up here just to give you a bit of inspiration. I found this today, but the colors again are stunning. So we're thinking about those colors today. And when I was working on this lesson, I thought of the colors that we would be using today, and just to kind of show you, this is Hansa yellow. And then this is a nice little pumpkin color, which actually is just orange. But you can mix orange with yellow and red if you don't have those particular colors. This is alizarin crimson, which I thought would be pretty. And this is just a purple color that got mixed with red and blue. I mixed this green using Hooker's green, which this is Hooker's right here. And it's very, very bright. So you'll want to tone this down with either burnt sienna, if you have it, or red. You have to kind of play with it to get the right green. So we'll talk about that a little bit. You can also use one called sap green, and that would really be close to this. And then I think this is yellow ochre and a bit of burnt sienna. And I forgot to put in some blue because I was thinking about maybe making some really pretty little blue berries. Not blueberries, but berries that are blue. Okay, so these are the colors, the autumn colors we're going to use today. And so, you know, you want to have a place in which to mix your colors. Okay, so I'm going to move this out of the way. And I think we'll look at a few examples of what some of them that I've done. This one has some cute little warm colors in it. This is one that, let's see, what way does that go? Another one that I did. It's kind of fun. And I have this one too. Move these out of the way. That it's a little different. They have some roses in them. And if we have time, maybe we can do some of these little roses that are fun to make. Okay, so we'll get started. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as my sample or as my reference painting, but I might change it up a little bit because that's kind of what I do. But we're going to start with the two yellow flowers, and it's often good, or it's usually a good idea to repeat our colors so that there's some harmony going on. So, you know, I'll probably do these. You can see I've got at least probably 4 or 5 times, but at least 3 of the yellow flowers, and maybe they're just the color, maybe they're smaller, so you can change the size. I'm going to start on the inside and grow my bouquet or my arrangement outward, but you can do it any way you want, okay? Whatever you want to do will be just great. Okay, so the first thing I'm doing here is I'm going to make some of these colors. Here's this, okay? So I'm just starting right in, and if you want to, you could draw the center of the flower so you kind of know where it is, but I'm not going to draw these before I paint them. I'm just doing them freehand. Okay, so, you know, just really relax and have fun with it. So I'm thinking that maybe right around here would be a good spot for a yellow flower, and I just do the center. I know you can't really see it. Maybe you can. So it's right around here, and then I'm going to do another one maybe right about here. And I'm making a pretty good sized center. All right. So where I'm starting with this little painting is I'm going to leave the center empty, and I'm going to paint the petals first. Okay. That's how I did this one. I did the center later. So we'll just go ahead and start. Now I'm going to use, I think I'll be using the Hansa yellow. If you have a kit, and of course you're just going to use this. Okay. And you can always put a little bit of orange with it. That would be very pretty. All right. So I've got my color mixed up, and I'm going to show you my palette again so you can kind of see how I do this. Okay. Just get that out of there. I've created a little puddle of color. We call that, well, what's another word for that, Tom? Just
A puddle of
it's a
color.
puddle of color.
A wash.
It's ready to go, and I can see on here what it's going to look like. But I know that this is probably the right consistency. I don't want it to be too light.
Oh, swatch.
Swatch, that's the perfect word. Okay, so here we go. I'm just going to start right here. Here's my center. I'm going to leave that empty, and I'm just going to start by pressing my brush against the edge here, and I'm going to take my brush stroke and bring it outward, and I can do it again next to it. Okay, so I'm going to do that kind of all around here. Now I've got a little bit of a bigger flower than I planned, but that's okay. It got a little bit large. So I'm just working my way around here now. While it's damp, because this is damp here where I've painted, I can always add a little deeper value. In other words, a little bit darker here and there, or close to the center. So it's going to change it up a little bit. I'm just going to work my way around. Now you want to have sort of a flow happening with your paint so that you can get your petals done. You don't want it to be too dry. In other words, you need to learn and figure out the right mix of paint to water, the right ratio that's going to give you some flow here. Okay, so again, I'm touching this a little bit at the edge to get it a bit brighter there. I could even go in with a little bit of orange here, which might be kind of nice. So I'm just touching it right along the edge with the orange. Okay, just going to work my way around here with this. It's almost like it's a sunflower. I think I have sunflowers on my mind again. Yeah, so you can figure these brushes, they don't all need to look alike either. So there's a couple ways to do them. I can go one brush stroke and then another brush stroke. You can also leave some white highlights. Okay. All right, so one thing about watercolor is that, excuse me, when this dries, I can go over it again and add darker pigment. I can also add details if I want to. I like to work while it's still damp to feed in a bit more color here and there, especially where it might be dark, but just like that, just a little bit. And I can also take my deeper value, which I made a different color, like I said, mixing some orange in with my yellow, and you can sort of work it along the edge a little bit for a shadow. So I'm working on that. Once it starts to dry, though, we want to let it rest. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. I mixed a little bit of burnt sienna in with my yellow just to give it that nice shadow color. Okay. So I'm going to let that dry. And I'm going to move on to my other yellow flower. I'm going to do the same thing. And I think maybe this one needs to be a tad smaller. That's okay. Still have a big center. Maybe I'll just go like that. These are fun to make. They always turn out a little bit different. They're not all the same, which is a good thing. You guys doing okay? Okay, awesome. I like to turn my paper around as I'm going around painting these, because then I can just get in there a little bit better to get these worked on. So a little bit of yellow ochre in here to kind of change it up a bit. And because it's damp, it's flowing into the yellow wash, which is what I want it to do. It's nice to have a little tissue or a paper towel to dry your brush on if you need to. I like to have that handy. And it's still wet enough that I can kind of go in here a little more. Okay. So maybe we'll put another little yellow flower over here just to, and this time I'm just kind of making a little center here and doing another one. And of course, you don't have to do it like I'm doing it. You can do it however you want. It's the fun of it. These round brushes are really good for making flowers. They're just really great for getting your petal shapes or your leaf shapes, I think.
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah, they really, you know, I use a flat a lot often when I'm doing a landscape, but I like the rounds for something like this. Oh. So. Now, if you do something that you don't really like, you can always take your paper towel and mop it, or actually you could just get rid of it. But I'm happy with this, so I'm just going to leave it. But just so you know, that paper towel or tissue kind of comes in handy. All right, so I'm going to let that kind of settle down a bit, and I think we'll try and make some of these flowers here. Okay, so we're going to go into a deeper value, or deeper color. Maybe going into our oranges, and you can mix that orange with red and your yellow. Let's see here. That's pretty. Okay, here's what I mixed up right here. It's a little more pink. Yeah, it's got a little more pink to it, but I think that's really pretty. So I'm going to use that one. So this flower, I'm going to give it 5 petals, and I'm going to kind of paint it the same way and add the center later. So I'm going to pop that one right here maybe. So I can draw the center first if I want to. And then I'm going to do it much the same way, but keeping it to the 5 petals. I kind of want a little more red in that. Now, if you don't want to do it this color, you could do it purple, and that would be very pretty. So that would work as well. Okay, so this petal is going to have a little more of a, like that kind of a shape. Okay, and then I'm going to fill it in. So when you fill it in, you're going pretty quickly, and you can leave a little bit of white space, like I did there. It's kind of fun. So I'm just going to fill these in around here. And because normally we don't outline with watercolor, but because I'm working in such a quick and small, I should say small space, it's going to be just fine. Okay. Put that right there, but look what happens. So there, I can dab it. It's okay. Okay, so this is another situation where we want, I'm going to go back later and fix that little corner, I think, but it might be okay. We want this to dry before we do the details on it. You guys can see that, but the details that are going on top of the first wash. So we want it to be dry, otherwise it'll run, which that's okay too, but in this situation I want it to dry first. So let's do another one of those flowers. Let's see here. This could really go any direction. So at this point, I mean, as far as which way does it go, that's okay. All right, so I'm going to do another one of those maybe right here. I think that would be pretty. Okay, so I have to turn my paper and do the same thing. And I've got the red, and the colors could be a little bit different, maybe a little more orangey, or whatever color you're using. You can change it up a little bit. That's totally fine. So there's my center. I'm going to do those same kinds of petals. It was just amazing today how the rain just stopped. It was like kind of cool, and then all of a sudden the sky was blue and pretty, and
That looks like your mixture looks like Daniel Smith coral.
oh yeah, it does have
Really pretty.
yeah, it does have a bit of a coral feel to it. Yep. Okay, so one more of those. One more of those would be good. Let's see here. Maybe you can go up here. Okay, so maybe we'll just make a little bit smaller one right here. So I am holding the brush close to the bristles for control here, and kind of have my hand anchored, but you have to be careful with that, because if there's a damp part of your painting, you're going to smudge it. So just kind of keep that in mind. That's why I keep turning this. Okay, so to get these little highlights that I've got here, I'm using what we call paper white, and all it means is that I just didn't put any pigment there. So it's just empty of pigment, and so we retain those nice whites for sparkle, for highlights, and we call it paper white. All right, so again, I want these to dry before I add those centers. Okay, so I think what we'll do now is we'll move into a little bit of purple, and I'm thinking about these kind of funny flowers and how we could make those. I'm going to use purple and put a little bit of my red into it, so it's kind of a pretty burgundy-ish color, I think. Okay, so here's my mixture right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do this one is I'm going to build it up again. You can see where there's some lights in the first layer is light, and then once it was dry, I added the darker layers. So in the brush line work, I should say. So I'm going to use a little bit of a paler wash here. That's pretty. Okay, so that means just a bit more water, not quite so much pigment. And we'll just pop one of those in right here. And these brush strokes are sort of moving this way along here. And you could give them a bit of a point too if you want to. Okay, so that way that I just did it is working from the top down to the bottom of the flower. But what if you tried it the other way? That works too. So here I'm just going to go up like that, starting from my pigment that's right here and using my brush to pull it up. So when I do these pointy, or let's see, little sharper edges here, I'm bringing my brush up to the tip so that it creates that for me. Okay. So oftentimes I'm using the color that I have, the paint that's here, to, you know, make another petal, so to speak. Okay. All right, so that's working. And then once it's dry, I'll do another layer over top of that. Oops, that one got a little wild. That's okay. All right, so that one's kind of cute. And I can, while it's wet, I can add a little bit of darker pigment at the base, just a little bit here. We'll see how that does for me. Okay, so let's put another one. Using a little bit deeper purple mixed with my the one that I'm just mixed up, and I'm going to have that one go this way. Okay, so doing kind of the same thing. It's just a little bit smaller flower. Okay, and then I can soften it a bit if I'm going to soften some of these edges. And that just means using a little bit more water to help me get that look that I want. Oops. Okay. We'll put another one of those. Let's see. How are we doing, Tom, on time?
You have, it's 1:33.
Okay. I know. It goes so fast. Oops. I'm getting a little bit of the look of dry brush. And I'm not quite ready for that. That's okay. right. Just a little bit more. So it's starting to be kind of fun. And we could think about some little berries. So you could have, using your alizarin crimson, if you have that, you could make red berries. You could certainly make berries that are blue. I think that really anything would work. Whatever you like. I think I need more purple berries. So let's see, let's kind of bring that color over on this side. Pop a few of those over here. And for that, all I'm making are some little circles. I need some more water. Little circles. And you can leave a little highlight if you want to. And your berries, those are kind of big berries. The birds will like those, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one right about here. And in a little bit, we're going to connect these and create some leaves for this little painting. Maybe there's some more over here. And you can change up the colors of the berries too if you want. So these are just little circle shapes that I'm creating here. Maybe there's a clump right here. Okay. All right, let's see. Maybe some good ones. I'm fine, that's fine. I think. Okay. Looks like you guys are painting away. If you had a little piece of paper, you're probably done by now. Let's see. Maybe add some more, another purple flower.
That works. Good.
Everybody's working. Okay. I want to have time to do the centers and do the leaves. Okay. Like maybe another one of these. I think I have room to do some small little smaller flowers right along here. It's kind of nice to change the size up a little bit so that everything has some variety. So you can do that by changing the color and changing the size, changing the shapes. I have a little bit bigger piece of paper, so I'm So I think it's time to kind of start getting these, get the centers on these guys. This one I'm going to have looking sideways, kind of. All right. Okay, so These are dry, and these are pretty dry here. So I think we can go in and start getting the centers done. So with that, I'm using a darker color. I'm going to go in with probably this. This is yellow ochre. Here is burnt sienna, which is almost a red. You can always tone it down if you and gray it up, actually sort of browns it up by putting a little purple with it, which is kind of pretty. So think about the color you want to use. I think I'm going to go with my yellow ochre for the center, and I'm just going to work right in here. And basically I'm just filling this in, but again, I want to leave some areas that are white just for my highlights and get that filled in. And I got a little bit too much water going on, so I'll show you a way that you can mop that up with your brush if you get too much like I did. All right, so you can just take your brush and rinse it off and then dry it, and then you can use your brush to pull the color out. That's what I did with it. Okay, so now with that center, I could add some texture into the wash just by popping in some little dots of other colors, a little bit of orange, maybe a little bit of a brown into this. It's kind of fun. So it changes it up a little bit. Looks kind of cute. Okay. I need to make this a little bit bigger around here. So I'm going to grow my circle outward just a bit because I ended up with a little bit more white on the edges there that I don't really want. Okay. So I'm going to use this a little here to shadow these a bit. And once I do that, I'm softening the edge. So it's not just a hard line. All right, well that's looking pretty good. I can always go back and add more to that one, but I want to get the other centers in. It's going to do the same thing here. One thing that I always try to remind people is that the watercolor that you paint, it's always going to dry a bit lighter and fade quite a bit. So we often have to kind of go back and do another layer of color, which is sort of what happened to me here. Once it's dry, like I said, you can go right back over it and add another layer of darker pigment. Okay. And that's making that pop a little bit better for me. Was it working okay, Tom?
No, it crashed.
Oh no.
That's okay. I'll just redo it.
Okay. This one's dry. So this one really faded, so I need to give this a little bit more, another layer. So you can always do your first initial wash and then go back and add more pigment. It's just fine. And you can always leave some of that first wash if you want to. kind of makes it interesting. That one I need to go back to as well. So let's see here. Let's get that done. And always make sure it's dry before you try and do this. You want it to set up. I guess that's the right word, right?
Yep.
Let it set up.
I happened across a botanical painter illustrator
Oh yeah?
on YouTube. I'm astounded at how many layers you can put on top of your watercolors.
It is. It is amazing. And you know, you just want to try and keep that freshness there.
Yeah, yeah.
And not overdo it too much, but there. That's working a little bit better. Except that one. Well, I'm sure that I could be spending a lot of time trying to make this look a little bit better, but that's okay. All right. Okay, so I'm thinking about these flowers here, and I'm going to go really dark in the center with, you could use your purple, you could use alizarin crimson. Alizarin crimson would mix nicely with blue to give you a nice deep center for those little flowers. So that's what I'm looking for here. And I'm getting it mixed up, and I'm going to work. I think I'll work right here first. Okay, I might even put a little bit of burnt sienna in there. There. Okay, so same idea here. I'm painting these because they're it's darker than the first wash that I made. I can go over where I painted the petals, and it'll be just fine. So with this one, from this center that I made, I'm going to use the color that's on my paper and just bring some lines outward around here. So I'm using the color here and tip of my brush and bringing it out. And certainly if you run out of color in the center, then you can always go and grab some more from your palette. Okay, so that's looking kind of nice. It gives it a bit of a textural look. All right, and this is dry now, so I can also make some detail work on here, and I'm just doing some lines on this. If I want to soften those lines, very carefully again with the side of my brush that's dry, or excuse me, that's clean and relatively dry, I can just soften those edges of that line that I just made. Okay, so that's looking kind of nice. So I'm going to do the same thing with these other ones. Getting some nice deep, in trouble with that. That's much better. Finding the right dark. Okay. All right. I'm going to have to get going on the leaves.
It's 12 minutes to 1 or 2.
Okay. So I may not have time to get all of these done, but you get the hang of making these centers. And I'm going to move on to the leaves that are going to tie it all together. Okay. Those are looking kind of cute. I'm going to get these some little centers here too. I might go with another color. You know, time gets away from you when you do art. At least it does for me. For lots of people, I hear that when they're drawing or painting or doing pottery or photography, you just sort of lose track of time, and that's kind of what happened here. I got sort of excited about making this little painting. So that's okay. We'll just get going on some leaves so that we have time to get this done. Okay, so the color that I'm using here for the leaves, I've got Hooker's Green, right here. I also have sap green. So let me show you what these look like. This is sap, okay? And then here's hookers, which actually is a very useful color to have. However, it's going to need to be changed up a little bit so that it's more, oh well, will be the right word, Tom. A little more of a,
Oh, so yeah, more natural.
yes, exactly, thank you. So I can mix it with a little burnt sienna, and that's what I get, which I actually like that. Okay, so you'll want to mix it with burnt sienna. If you don't have that, mix it with a little bit of red or pink, and you'll eventually get a nice green. If you have sap green or a green in your kit, those will work just fine. That's actually the one I like, the one that is in the set.
That's, yeah.
Yeah, it's just fine. Okay, so the leaves, I'm just gonna kind of sprinkle them around here and think about where I want them to go. And I'm just doing a nice little, that's a pretty green, a nice little brush stroke that actually all I'm doing is, let's put one right, where should I put one? Maybe over here. I'm gonna get everybody dizzy looking at this, including myself. No. Okay, so this one, all I'm doing here is thinking about where I want it to go, using my brush, making a stroke, and then doing another brush stroke next to it. Okay, that's all that really is. And you can vary the size of the leaves that you make. They don't all have to be the same. Okay, these three maybe are going to get joined together. Let's see here. Where's that one going to go? Like that. Okay, and then you could make some more leaves. It's kind of fun just to let this grow, so to speak, right on your paper. Depends on where you want to start and just kind of make it work for you. Okay, so these I think I'm going to have go like that. Whoops. We want to have time to be able to see the work that you guys have done. We'll work on this a little bit more, and then in about what? How many minutes?
9 minutes.
Yeah, we're fine. We'll went behind that pebble. Mm-hmm.
I think somebody left.
And you can certainly put a little bit of yellow in with your green, and it'll warm it up a bit. Be fun to see what you guys did today. I hope you had fun. You can leave a white background if you want to. Just fill it up with lots of leaves and little flowers and sprigs of dried grasses, or it's all kinds of, actually the, what are those called? The cattails are pretty right now.
Oh yeah, this time of the year, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm doing some little leaves that are more of a yellowish, kind of a yellowish brown up here. So I think the key here is just to sprinkle these colors around and make it interesting and have fun with it. So what do you think, Tom? Do we have time a little bit more for painting?
Sure, if you want to.
Everybody's working.
It won't hurt to run this.
I didn't go back on these. Get a little more definition on these. Should have used a smaller sheet of paper. Then I would have been done more quickly. And you know,
Next time.
yeah, you just get to talking and the time gets away from you, like I said. Connect that to something. So I think the key is to, as I said before, sprinkle the colors around so that you have some repeated colors, some shapes, flower shapes that are repeated. Change up your leaves so that they're kind of different with colors and kinds of leaves. And then you can always go back, like I said, and darken or add details once it's dry. Okay. Well, I know that I have a lot more work to do on this one, but that's okay. Well, it needs a little more work, but that's fine. I did want to just show you really quickly, and then we'll take turns with show and tell, but how to do one of these little roses. These are fun to do. Usually, I just start with, see if I can get a nice purple here, nice burgundy color. So with the little roses, you can see a lot of these little YouTube things about these, I think.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
by the hundreds.
Yeah, but usually what I do is I start with kind of a curved line and then another curved line kind of next to each other. And then I grow it out. So they're curved lines that are sort of, what's the right word? In a circular sort of a way. And then all you need to do with this is take some clean water and go along your edge and pull it out. So the mark that I made is going to move outward into the clean water. And these are fun just to play around with. It's another thing that you usually want to go back again once it's dry and give it a little more definition. But kind of a fun little thing to do. All right. So we'll take some time and Tom will get that organized and then we can see what you guys have done today with your flowers. And I hope you had fun.
Are these big enough pictures or not?
Yeah, those are great.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Patricia, would you like to show your artwork for today? Ooh, look.
Oh, very pretty.
Very nice.
Look at you.
Nice layering.
Mm-hmm.
And
Very nice. Thanks for joining us. Have you
Well-
come to classes before, Patricia? Yes, good. Well, come again, okay? I think we've got some more things coming up for you.
Hi, Michelle. How are you doing?
Very
Very
pretty.
good. Nice.
Very nice.
All right.
Good job.
Amanda, what do you got for us today?
Oh, that's cute.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Nice, Amanda.
Okay. Elijah,
No, that's,
or, I'm
I
sorry.
can remember. It's Julie. I think.
It's Julie.
It's
Yeah.
Julie, yeah.
Get all mixed up.
There you go. I'll get it figured out yet. Oh, I'm on like the wrong.
Elijah.
Ah, let's get on the right side here.
Oh, pretty Julie.
Oh, so trying.
Nice
There you
job.
All right, nice. And Jane, are you showing today?
I don't know where Jane is.
Right there.
Oh, there you are.
Unmute.
Nice, Jane.
Pretty.
Very fun. So
Very,
you just
very
need to get
good.
some leaves in there.
All right.
Good. Well, thank you guys for coming very much. And yeah, we'll see you again next time. See a couple of you. Good. We'll see a couple of you in a couple of days. Yeah, we're doing landscapes, so that'll be fun. Fall
Thanks
land.
so much.
Yeah. Can't wait.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, you guys have a
Bye.
great rest of your day.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.